So how much you know about this? Ukraine said it uncovered $40 million corruption scheme in weapons procurement, where some are even speculating that Zelenskyy is taking money off the money that's being given to his country. Do you think that level of corruption is happening right now, where he's taking money from it, or no?
Well, listen, I think that's something for them to look at that. But what I was just saying, that's why I said, listen, I was very tough with them. That's why they probably hate me. It's probably, if not more than Putin, but they have a lot of propaganda against me in Europe and in Ukraine. They tell the crazy stuff about me. Oh, listen, they put like a billboards on me, like, oh, this is like pro-Kremlin Putin asses or something like that. It's terrible, but it's really, I think when I tried to push, because all I said is that I want accountability, and I said I want to have point-to-point logistics. I want any weapons will be delivered right to the front line with Americans. I don't trust any Ukrainians oversee that. There are some good people there, a lot of shady people. And that's what my conflict with them started, that I said, I want point-to-point logistics and Americans to oversee what's happening with weapons. And I'm not supporting giving cash to Ukrainian government. No, I do not trust them even a little bit. I understand.
Why not?
Well, listen, unfortunately.
Do you think he's capable of stealing money from us?
Everyone is, or they can steal their own money and then ask us to refill the budget.
What do you think is the chances that he's already stolen some money from us?
Listen, the considering how that country is, listen. Let's just be very honest who we're dealing with. Unfortunately, the former Soviet Republic, except maybe Baltics, whether it's Russia, Ukraine, or any other ones, are very corrupt countries. The whole Eastern Europe, unfortunately, struggling still from corruption and the level of corruption. When you have a war and opportunities, for corruption, when you have infiltration by Russian too, the Russians know if they infiltrate Ukraine, and that's been happening a lot, actually, when he had to fire a bunch of close people, then corruption can lose any war. And I think that's a big challenge to do that. And I said, listen, they can deal with their own corruption. My responsibility for American weapons and money, what we're doing here, I am American Congresswoman, and I want to make sure that they are not, taking our money and weapons. And that's what, I was very surprised when Biden said, and that's why I put pressure. They said a little bit better, where I said, okay, what do you mean, I don't know what's happening after the border crossed, after we gave stuff at the Polish border and we don't know what's happening there. I said, that's BS. That is unacceptable.
What is the current way when we give money? What happens to the money and who does the money go to? Like right now, the $61 billion, right? That's going to go to Ukraine. Where is that going?
You don't know if they're going to go to Ukraine, because if you think about it, that's what the problem I had. I know, from even one of the packages before, $1 billion went to Yemen, Houthis in Yemen that were taken from a terrorist list that shooting our ships. They have associated causes. So Ukraine is becoming a slush fund where not all this money actually go directly. Some of the money go to rebuild some of our allies, in Europe, okay? That's all great, but why is that part of Ukrainian money? Some of them rebuild our stockpile. Some of them, some of the countries give garbage to Ukraine and then bought some new equipment, and Ukraine got half of not working. So I think this is just not right way to do it. That's why I had a very big objections. We don't even know the way how this bill written, most of them, we don't even know what is even go directly to Ukraine. Only part of it, I believe it's 16 or something billion. It's, it says Ukraine security assistance for Ukraine specifically, but even part of that could be used to replenish stockpiles to some countries that gave Ukraine, and we never can give an answer who gave what and where it is. So that's why I was surprised to see that a lot of these weapons, I didn't even see them there. So they were all, who knows where, what Biden is doing. The same blank check with his drawer, he can give to any international organizations. He can give to UN. I've never seen UN doing anything there.
What do you think is the connection with Zelenskyy and Biden? Some people speculate that maybe because of Burisma and what happened in the past and his son and Biden, Hunter and all this stuff. Do you think there's any link to all of a sudden his loyalty being so high in defending Ukraine? You think there's anything going there?
I think Biden actually, I would actually have a different perspective. I actually was surprised how not helpful Biden was, and how Jake Sullivan was actually blocking most of the approvals of the aid. He was the one who's actually, so I would, and it's interesting because a lot of people don't realize that Hunter Biden, the oligarch that he was getting money from, is actually, work for the guy who is hiding under Putin in Russia right now. So yeah, he worked for Yanukovych, and he was from pro-Russian oligarchs, not really pro-Ukrainian oligarchs. And some of the people in Zelenskyy administration, like Tatarov, he's the one who was killing people and protesters on Maidan. So it's very interesting how he has a lot of people in his administration that actually used to be very close to Yanukovych, which surprises me. So I didn't see them as being like freedom-loving people at all. That makes me question at all where is their loyalty and what Biden is, and what is really, because he was not really trying to, he was more appeasing Russia than I've ever seen. Trump gets a lot of slack. But Trump was probably way tougher in Russia than Biden. Biden is just lets Russia and Iran and China eat our lunch.
Mainstream media disagrees with you.
Oh, no, he lets them eat our lunch.
Well, mainstream media would say you're delusional for saying what you just said right now. They would say, are you kidding me? There's no way Trump was all about Putin and Biden is the one that's helping out Ukraine. The average person will listen to what you just said, and they said, what is she talking about?
No, I'm talking the facts, not grandiose statements. Biden does grandiose statements. But if you listen to recent Putin's interview and they ask him who would he prefer, he
said Biden.
He said Biden. Yeah. I would if I would be him. He was able to do whatever in the hell he wanted under Biden and Trump.
Let me pull that up, Rob.
And the Biden and Obama. I mean, he did that, I mean, I would be too, because he knows that the guy is weak, he's political and corrupt. And a lot of people around him are very shady. Like Jake Sullivan, I do not even know what in the hell is going on. And this is the same guy, he worked for Hillary Clinton and made a lot of very strange deals for her too.
Jake Sullivan. Okay, so between the two, I don't know if you care about this or not. When you hear people saying Putin is worth $200 billion, what do you think about that?
Oh, I'm probably one of the richest people in the world.
What do you think about Zelenskyy? You think Zelensky's also a pretty rich guy?
I think by now probably
He's a billionaire by now, you think?
I wouldn't be surprised. I really don't, but considering, how that country is, I mean, he was put in there by oligarch, but now he acts like he's an oligarch or maybe people around him. So it's hard for me to say.
What is the business model, though? What is a guy like Zelenskyy? You go into business, okay. It's a business model on how to make money. It's not hard to find out how to make money, right? What is the business model for Zelenskyy to become a billionaire?
Well, listen, it's everything like that in these countries like that. And listen, and I don't want to I'll be speculating here because I didn't go and trace the accounts, which, we probably should see at least what's happening with our money. I'm pretty sure they're stealing money of their own people, but at least don't screw with our money. That's what I told them. And I used probably much harder word, than I said to them. I use a bad word.
What did you say?
I said, don't F with our money and weapons. But these are bandits. They only understand words like that. They just don't understand that.
So you think Zelenskyy is a bandit?
Well, listen, these people come, people come from all of this kind of groups, and all of this, Putin, Zelenskyy, all of these people. But you have the challenge what we have this young people that very patriotic. They keep taking, governments. They did one another, try to find freedoms in Ukraine, and they keep elected one government after another that is corrupt. That's why it's hard to get out of that circle. So I separate Ukrainian fighters and soldiers, truly patriotic young people, from their government that actually not helping them. Sometimes see competition in the military because they worry about them. That's why I say, Second Amendment, right? It's against tyranny because politicians in Ukraine at least nervous now because the military has a lot of weapons, and that's when people own weapons. That's actually, something that against tyranny and keeps us strong as a republic, and it's very important, right? People don't understand that the government make nervous when people do have ability to actually have guns and they don't have to rely on them. But I think, this is how this country is, that, everyone is just taking businesses.
Who do you trust more? Do you trust Putin more or Zelenskyy more?
Well, listen, this is a different, I wouldn't trust either one, right? But I'll tell you something what is really, there is no doubt, unfortunately, the what Russia turned under Putin, it's became very brutal dictatorial country, and Putin is going to kill in millions. It's sad for me to say.
Putin's going to kill in millions.
Oh, he's killing. Oh, he's going to.
His own people.
Well, his own people in Ukraine. I mean, this is unfortunate. Like people with Wagner Group in Africa, what they doing there, helping China. I mean, it's terrible, right? So it's sad to me to see what's happening there. But I also think, he has ego, ambition, and he has, it's terrible what he's doing. It's an evil power he became. But I also very get upset because, it's very different. Russians are brainwashed with all of this. He's pretty much done it to his people. But it was very sad for me to see when Zelenskyy, has, this young people that very, brave and very strong and freedom-loving, and he is selling out the country to some of the oligarchs and people around him and making money on this bloodshed. So this is really betrayal of the country. So I have no high regards for either one. I don't have a very high regards for our president here. I'll be honest with you. Our president is selling out our country. He's betraying the American people. Unfortunately, we have a lot of bad leaders, in a different way. But Biden and Zelenskyy let Putin do what he's doing right now with their corruption and weaknesses. And I think that is the biggest problem we have, and we didn't deter very evil power.
You think it'd be different if Trump becomes president in 2025?
Listen, I think Trump is very tough and he's very serious. At least, sometimes, he can be very unexpected in foreign policy, and I think it's a deterrence. We need to have someone with strengths because, unfortunately, people like Putin are not going to be listening to grandiose statements that Biden is doing. They only understand the strengths, and I think you'll have to have a president like that.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.